What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from the quarantine zone again, and this time we got Tyler Bryant back on the phone of Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, dude, it's good to chat with you.
Yeah, great to chat with you again. Before we get into everything new album related and all that, the last time we spoke was at the Bowery Ballroom. You got to tell them what happened at that epic show.
Oh my gosh, that show was a wild, wild show. I believe that was the tour we were doing with the temperance movement.
Yep.
And yeah, we were closing out that night, and somewhere in the show something happened, and I busted my finger open. And I didn't realize until
What happened? You cut out.
I busted my finger open. And I didn't realize what was going on until my pick started slipping out of my hand, and I looked down, and my hand was covered in blood. And I looked out, and a few of the people in front of me also had a lot of blood on them. And after the show, Caleb came up to the dressing room and was like, "Dude, there's a guy down there freaking out because he thought that it was his blood on his arm, and he licked it up." I'm like, "Oh no, dude, pro tip, don't lick blood at a concert. It doesn't matter if you think it's yours or not." But all is well. That was a strange night.
You just when I thought I couldn't miss concerts anymore, you just made me miss them like crazy.
I know, you never know what's in the cards at a Shakedown show.
Exactly. That's the beauty of it. And that is, I think, the most metal thing that ever happened.
I know, dude. Yeah, it's like my one shining black metal moment.
Exactly. Before you know it, it's going to be like Tyler Bryant. Like you need to replace the Y in your name with a V, and yeah. And I don't know, there's a way to make the name very cult.
Dude, well, I'm not even gonna lie to you. So last time we were in Oslo, Norway, I kind of went on like a little black metal history excursion, whatever. And dude, I made friends with a lot of like really cool people, and learned a lot about that genre of music. Which I was just like, how can like the culture of this cause people to burn churches and do crazy stuff? And anyways, I got in touch with the original artist who did, actually my guitar tech did this for my birthday, got in touch with the original artist that did the Emperor logo and had a t-shirt, a Shakedown shirt made with it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was like so sick.
Are you going to sell that as merch? You got one sold already.
Dude, yeah, we did a limited run of them, but I think that we probably have to reprint them. But I think it honestly pissed a lot of people off because they were like, "You guys aren't metal. Why'd you have this metal logo?"
Yeah.
And the answer is because I like it.
That's if you're getting pissed off at that, then that means your life is actually pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Which is not very metal on their part.
Yeah.
But on a more serious note, again, that might be my favorite live story I've ever done in my 3 years of doing this. So excellent work.
Yeah.
But you have the new album Pressure coming out this fall, and you released 2 singles off of it already. You also want to talk about how the making of Pressure was? Was there kind of like a preconceived idea, really? How did Pressure sort of come to be?
Man, it's I think that the album kind of just acted as a way for us to keep ourselves sane, because we're a road band. We spend all of our time touring, and we were watching all of our friends who are in bands get their shows rescheduled or postponed and then ultimately canceled. And we were supposed to be going on tour with Nickelback and Stone Temple Pilots, and so we thought, maybe this is a big tour, they'll find a way. And then it became very obvious that the touring was going to happen for us this year. So we just do what we do and said, let's go make music. Let's just get together and do it. And we talked about trying to go into a studio, and the producers that we wanted to work with were kind of all like leaving town and just basically taking off to warmer weather to try and avoid getting the virus, because I think at that time there wasn't a lot of information on what was going to happen, how long it was going to last. I mean, there's still really not, but so we're like, dude, let's just get together in my basement and make a record. We invited our friend Roger Alan Nichols to come co-produce it, and it was just such an easygoing process. We had a ton of songs together, and then we wrote some songs in the studio, and yeah, we just had a good time, hung out together. It's like just hanging out with my best friends every day, making music.
So pressure wasn't even like a plan or anything like that. It kind of just happened in the wake of everything that's been happening in the world.
Yeah, it was just sort of our reaction to everything that happened, you know, because I mean we can't stop making music. We have to do something. So we just thought, well, we weren't planning on making a new record yet. We had been writing songs, but we weren't planning on doing it yet, because everyone was like, now is not a good time to release music. And so our thought was, well, maybe we make this record, put it out, and then start making another record. Like, let's just keep our nose to the grindstone and try to stay inspired and stay busy, focused, and not like now is not the time for artists to just sit and watch Netflix all the time.
Yeah.
Even though it's really easy to do.
Yeah, and so being that, you know, like this was sort of like I don't want to say like it was basically a spur of the moment thing. Is it fair to say that maybe like the uncertainty or, you know, the unrest or all that maybe kind of added fuel to the fire of creativity for this?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the record is called Pressure because that's what we were all feeling. You know, and I feel like everyone around the world has been feeling pressure. You know, and especially in America, there's all this extra stuff that we're dealing with, and you know, we just felt like the pot was boiling over. So that's why we called the album Pressure, and it's why the album cover is that VU meter just pegged into the red. You know, which I feel like also represents the blood that guy drank at our show. No, I'm kidding. That represents, you know, kind of what the Shakedown is about. It's like just going for it, and that's kind of the energy we wanted to try and capture on this record.
Yeah. So this has no relation to what we heard on Truth and Lies. This is almost kind of like its own entity in the catalog.
Yeah, totally. It's its own entity. You know, this was the other thing that was adding pressure to us was that Noah Denny, our bass player of 8 years, left the band in February to go pursue his passion of being a drummer, which is totally cool, and we support him, and he's always going to be part of our like Shakedown family, and you know, his departure couldn't have gone any better on a heart level because he came over and we hugged it out like brothers, but that still added a lot of uncertainty for us, the remaining three guys, and so we just were like, now is the time to reinvent ourselves. Now is the time to start something fresh, because the original plan was to re-release Truth and Lies with unreleased songs, and we we're like, abort mission. We can't re-release. We have to reinvent.
That's a very good quote. Are those songs ever going to see the light of day though? Those unreleased songs, or are they on Pressure? Or
no, none of them are on Pressure. I really don't know. I haven't really thought about it. We've just been trying to look ahead right now. And then maybe on a record store day or something, we can figure something out.
Yeah, you never know if those unreleased songs could be the biggest hit you've ever had.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Isn't that a scary thought?
You're right. My listeners think that I'm beating that joke to death, but I don't really intend it as a joke. Like, every time I ask somebody how the record's made, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, we wrote 12 songs, we selected 8 of them," and I'm like, "Well, what if those other 4 are like going to be the real big singles?"
Dude, I know. Well, we started this Pressure album with 37 completely recorded songs.
Wow.
And we narrowed it down to 13, and then we re-recorded them all, in the way that we wanted to do the album, which was, kind of Caleb and I playing live, and Graham, and Graham playing live with us on a few as well. But just there were certain limitations because we did the record in my home studio, so we were kind of taking inspiration from the boundaries and limitations that we found ourselves up against.
Mm-hmm. So, being that you wrote so many songs, is there a chance that maybe Pressure could be like a series or something like that? God forbid, shows are delayed a little bit longer.
Yeah, totally. I mean, well, it's that's an interesting question. The day that we finished tracking the album, Roger Nichols, who we invited to co-produce it with us, was like, "Hey guys, should we just keep going? Should we just make a big album?" And I think we all seriously considered it for a second, because there was a stack of songs that we kept going, did we step? Should we have done this? And I just kept saying, let's just make another album. It's not like it's not like this is the last record we're gonna make, you know. Let's just make another one. But I think we'd all kind of run ourselves into the ground a little bit making the record. We were originally going to do a 6-song EP. Well, the label was bouncing between the numbers 4 and 6, and we were like, that just seems disgusting to have all of this time and only put out 4 songs. Like, we got to give our fans something to hold on to and to chew on, and so we basically took the EP budget and made a 13-song album.
That's impressive. Could the first 2 singles that you released, "Crazy Days" and "Holding My Breath," and being that they have special features on those, can that maybe serve as a clear representation of the entirety of Pressure, or is that just like the tip of the iceberg?
That's very much just the tip of the iceberg. It's a very diverse record. There are not any more special guests on the record. Well, I mean, my wife Rebecca, she's in a band called Larkin Poe. They're killer. If anyone hasn't heard them,
they're awesome.
Yeah, they rule.
I really want to interview them in person when shows come back.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, she's just a rock star, and there's a couple moments on the album where I was like, hey, can you come and make my song better with your badass voice? And she was like, yeah, sure. We support each other in whatever ways we can. And it was awesome to just kind of have her sing on "Crazy Days" and have her sing. She sang on a song called "Misery," and she did like one little just bad to the bone vocal run in the song "Hitchhiker." So. But yeah, I'm excited about it.
And then collaborating with Blackberry Smoke's Charlie Starr, working with both Rebecca and Charlie have had to teach you new things or maybe open up your ideas to even new experiences, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I think Rebecca and I are constantly pushing each other, when it comes to songs, and we write songs together pretty often, and so it's like working with her. We had to kind of learn to work together, because we're both very much like the alpha wolf, like she kind of is used to heading up her band and I'm used to heading up my band, and so that was a thing that we were like, wait a second, hold on, we have to figure out how to do this, and it was actually really kind of fun, and Blackberry Smoke is one of my all-time favorite bands. I have so much respect for Charlie, the way he plays and writes and sings, and I was just he and I have been basically texting each other memes throughout this entire pandemic. Pretty much the memes that you would imagine. And one night I was just like, "Hey, real talk, will you sing on a song? No pressure. You can say no." And then I got really nervous that I asked him. I was like, "Yeah, you can say no. It's really, I won't be upset. I don't want you to be worried about it." And blah blah blah. And he just wrote back, "I'd be honored." And then he told me he would do it if I publicly shamed Fender Stratocasters.
What kind of compromise is that?
I know. So I did. I went on. I posted a picture of my guitar and was like, "This sucks. Just don't ever get one of these." Blah blah blah.
That's terrible.
How much of a guitar nerd he is, dude.
But that's terrible. I mean, first of all, the Stratocaster is like an icon in the world of rock. Like,
yeah, I know. We have like an inside joke. Like, the guitar nerd community on Instagram. On Sundays they post pictures of their Gibsons, and on Saturdays they post pictures of their Strats, and it's like waging this like war. Like, it's really funny.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, as somebody who interviewing a lot of technical death metal bands in my day, I could tell you on how nerdy it really gets. I mean, I don't know if you've been to NAMM, but
that's so funny.
Yeah, when you go to NAMM, all of the technical death metal guitars are kind of like in the same hall area, so you just hear either constant gent riffs and then everywhere.
Wow.
It's like living in a really weird sort of nightmare in a cool way.
That's kind of rad. Yeah.
Yeah. Or some could say that it's just Guitar Center on steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, for your guitar playing, I don't know if we discussed this last time, but do you have a theoretical background actually in what you incorporate?
None. Yeah, no, not at all.
Really?
Yeah, it's all just from listening to records. I cut my teeth listening
With what?
and Johnny Winter, and I just learned records. And so for me, I probably have the least knowledge on music theory out of anyone in the Shakedown. Graham went to Berkeley for like long enough to get a coffee. Well, that's our joke. We're like, Graham went to Berkeley and got a coffee.
That's the best.
But he probably learned. I think he learned a little bit there. And then Caleb graduated from Belmont, so he actually, he went through the ear training and all of that stuff. So it's pretty mind blowing how much those guys actually know when it comes to music theory. And then I'm just like, I'm the instinct. It's like, does it make me happy? Does it make me want to put my fist in the air? Is it doing what it's meant to do? And so, yeah, my solos and all that, it's all improvised. And I just try to get the sound in my head to come out. And I normally can't do it like, if like, for example, Roger Alan Nichols, who co-produced with us, you're like, dude, just play that same solo and then just change the last lick. I'm like, I don't know what I just did. It happened and then now it's gone.
Well, I think that could work in your favor because, there's times where you could tell that somebody has a theoretical background by simply, like listening to their solos and stuff. But I think that you guys have like a lot of contrast in your playing, and having these different experiences and these different backgrounds has to help bring more diversity to the sound, right?
Totally. That's why it's not like just me. It's me and the Shakedown. Because the guys in the band just bring so much. And, honestly, some of my favorite guitar solos on the record are the ones that Graham played. I love the stuff that I got, too. But he, like, on the second single that we released, Holding My Breath, Graham takes the first solo, and it was a beautifully written solo. And he was walking around my house picking up a guitar in every room he went to, and just kind of, I could see he was working it out, but it, like, to the point that it started to like become a bit annoying because he was just playing it over and over. But then when it came time to track the song, he had his solo and it was written and it was beautiful and it worked and it was killer. And on that particular song, the first solo I did, I was like, that was the one, that was it, I nailed it. But the tone was not right. And so we ended up having to change some amps. And then 150 takes later, I finally got one that I liked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just, I guess that's also the benefit of being able to record at home and have the luxury of like walking away, going to sleep, taking a break, coming back fresh.
Yeah, well, I don't understand how artists, like, I had a discussion about this yesterday, actually. Like, I envy the strategy, people who are able to put stuff down and come back to it later, because I'd imagine, like, that almost has to kill the vibe in a way, or kill, like, if you're trying to capture a moment in your song, doesn't it kind of like kill that buzz in a way if you're working on it for an extended period of time?
Well, yeah, that's sort of like, for me, if I'm getting it, if I feel like I'm getting the best out of myself, then I want to keep going. And there's a lot of, that's why I was like, a double album is not in the cards right now, because, we cut this album in 20 days and there was so little sleep involved, and so like, like when the candle was burned at both ends and we were looking for a third. And so there's like a point where you stop moving forward and you start moving sideways, and you're doing work, but it's not necessarily better. It's just different. And so whenever my guitar playing starts to just become different and not better, then it's like, I got to shut it down for a second. And even like just taking a walk around the neighborhood and coming back, all of a sudden when you pick up the instrument, it feels different because you stepped away and you're hearing different. And I don't know, I can't say enough good things about like a 15-minute break,
Well, to each his own. To each his own.
Yeah.
So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time. Great to talk to you again. And do you just obviously, thanks to the virus that shall not be named, shows aren't happening at the moment. Could we be expecting some maybe Tyler Bryant live streams, or is there anything else that you would like to promote for the release of Pressure?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you asked. So on October 16th, we will be doing our first show, our first like full band stream show of the year, and it's our album release show. We pre-recorded it just because we wanted to make sure that the lights and the audio were just on point. So I've been working on that, and we're going to be incorporating behind the scenes studio footage and just stories behind the songs, and kind of like just some fun little extra things for whoever cares. And so that'll be on our website, which is TylerBryantTheShakedown.com, and it'll be the first time that our new bass player is ever introduced to Shakedown fans as well.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
definitely a lot to experience from this.
It's a lot.
Yeah, we look forward to it. But thank you so much, everybody. We are here with Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown. Be sure to pick up Pressure coming out later this fall. This is Alex from Heavy New York. We will see you next time.